right, let's get ready for fall, and you can do it no better than going over to Hobby Lobby and picking up all these supplies. You're going to grab one of these styrofoam wreath forms. I'm going to take some felt and we're going to get a backing for our wreath. This is really important, okay? You can pick up this felt in the fabric section at Hobby Lobby, and you're just going to cut it out the center and the outer, and then we are going to literally just kind of glue it on the back, because when it's hanging, we don't really want anything to poke through that foam, and we want it to protect your door. It's really important, okay? And then what we're going to do is we are going to start, the first thing is with a garland. Now Hobby Lobby has all sorts of choices in garland, so you could really take this wreath in any direction you want it to do. And I just got these floral pens, and that's how we added them. I kind of dipped them in the glue just to make sure it holds, but we're working on the outer part of this wreath. Then we're going to take some picks, and honestly, if you want to pick up in two of the garlands, but we probably had a little bit left over, we just kind of filled the inside. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. I wanted more of a neutral look and feel. So to create that, I took a box and then I cut all the stems the way I wanted, and I stuck them in the back of the box, and then we sprayed them very lightly, probably at least two, maybe three coats of like an ivory spray paint. This worked wonderfully. So as I come back inside, we're going to start putting those in, and we're going to fill in the wreath with all of these wonderful florals. And I really wanted that neutral look. I gave this wreath to a friend and she still hangs it to this day. We made this a few years ago, but it was so fun, and it's really one of my most favorite wreaths I've ever made for fall. So you can have a really good time with this. But I also want to encourage you, if you wanted to do a Christmas version, you could spray paint those flowers and leaves and ferns. You could spray and paint them gold, silver, add a little glitter, anything that you want to do. Now, I did get some of these picks. I know that Hobby Lobby has carried these for the last few years. I'm not sure if they're going to carry them this season or not, but again, use the premise with all of this as a recipe and just kind of add the colors. Maybe you want a little bit brighter than something neutral like this, but this was so much fun. The glue pot that I'm using is the Surebonder glue pot. I'll have a link for it down below. If you love to make these types of wreaths, florals, greenery wreaths, it's such a helpful tool. We're going to add some pumpkins, and there we go. We have a beautiful fall wreath. Now, let's get into this beauty. Now, all the supplies came from the Wreath Shop, and you can order ribbon, but think of this as a wreath recipe, okay? And I know that the Wreath Shop has so much to offer as far as fall decor. So we're gonna get the sign ready first, and I took 2 pieces of a pipe cleaner and we kind of twisted it together because I wanted it to have a little bit of length. So we've got that all glued, it's setting up and ready to go. Then we're going to take a 16-inch wreath form, and we're going to start by kind of making like bubbles, is like what I like to go. We're going to go about every 10 to 12 inches. We are going to add it to the inside of this wreath, okay? So we're going to go all the way around, and then we're going to start cutting some of this mesh. Now, I did use my rotary cutter here. You're going to cut about 20 inches here. And now what we're going to do is we are going to do a ruffle method. And so basically what you do is you let the mesh do what it does. It naturally curls up on the ends, and you're going to let it curl up, and then you're going to gather it. So what we did was we put one blue on the outside rim, and then we alternated it to beige and blue. So you're going to do that all the way around, okay? So once you get to this point in the wreath, now we're going to start adding some of those same pieces of meshes to the inside where we have like the bubble method that we were using before. So, and then you're just going to add some more. I ended up putting a few of these on a like pipe cleaner, and I added it here and there because you know what, if I have mesh left over, I'm going to use it. So you use it too. Now keep in mind, this is another great wreath recipe, and this would be beautiful as a Christmas wreath, a summer wreath, any type of wreath. So you're going to take some pieces of ribbon, and we're going to cut these because we want like these tails. You're going to cut them about 11 inches long. We have 3 different ribbons, 2 2.5 inch, and then 1 1.5 inch. We might have 3 of the 2.5 inch. I'm looking at this. Got 1, 2. We're going to gather them and we're going to put them on the existing ties of where the mesh is, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to alternate. So I was wrong. You had 2 sets of ribbon that are 2.5 inches and 2 sets that were 1.5, okay? So now let's make some little bundles and we're going to add some ribbon, okay? So we're going to do this. We're going to put a wire underneath. We're going to add about a 12-inch piece of mesh and we're going to make a bow with this, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and forth to the 7-inch. We're going to make a tail and you're going to do this. Let's see how many times I do this. Guys, I made this wreath a few years ago. I want to say we did this 3 years ago. If you want the full tutorial, here's what I'm going to do with all of these wreaths. I'm going to leave it in the description down below. These all have a full tutorial. It takes you step by step. This is just giving you a little bit, all right? So what I wanted to do here was I wanted to make sure that those pumpkins came down the right side, that no pumpkins were upside down. So you're going to have to go watch the full video. But I love my Pro Bow 4-in-1. If you don't have one of these, this is a great product to have, especially with Christmas coming. Everybody loves to make bows and your hands get tired, and I would highly recommend you getting one of these Pro Bow 4-in-1s. But we're going to get this done, and I think this bow turns out so beautifully. And I love how I used a little bit of mesh to kind of support it. And then we're going to put it on our wreath. I apologize if my voice sounds a little raspy. I am in Pennsylvania as I'm recording this, and we've had a lot of the air quality be really bad up here, and it's even worse at home in Detroit. So let's get back to this. But now what we did was we put our bow, and I believe we put our bow down at like the 7 o'clock, but I can't remember. We're gonna have to look at this at the end. But I love how this came together. It's so beautiful. And again, we're gonna do this little trick with the pumpkin. You just do it halfway and then you kind of cut it and then you have it coming both ways. And then that way, no pumpkin is upside down. Who wants a pumpkin upside down? But this one was a lot of fun to make, and you're going to want to watch the full tutorial. I'll even add the little clip up here, but we're going to have 2 bows. There it is outside of my house, and it just turned out so good. Now this wreath, we made this wreath, oh my goodness, probably 3 or 4 years ago. But we're going to use a wood burner to cut this mesh, and we are going to cut this mesh at 10 inches long, okay? You can use any type of mesh to do this, and you're going to need that because we're going to make a flower wreath with it. This was a lot of fun to make because this one, all the supplies came from Trendy Tree, so all of the supplies will be listed in the original tutorial of the tutorial that I'm featuring here. I just wanted to kind of show you, if you're new to my channel and you've maybe never seen these particular tutorials, that you should try them. So we're going to do our single method, or single fold method. So we go and we have the finished side up and down on the top and the right, and then we're going to put 2 of these together on a 10-inch wreath frame. We're going to add it on the bracket here, and in the full tutorial I can just explain this so much more, but this single method or single fold method is something I've been doing for a long time. Now I do put 2 of these together simply because like a regular deco mesh is a lot thinner than maybe a poly burlap. So it just works really well for this, and I love the gold, and I love what we do in the middle, okay? So we're going to do this all the way around, and then we're going to do a second layer and a third layer. But what we're going to do first here is we took this foam ornament. Yes, this is a Christmas ornament, and even if you don't want to do something with a leopard or a cheetah print, I'm not sure which one this is, but this is such a fun thing. If you find a styrofoam ornament, it makes the perfect flower center. So I'm going to show you how to get this all set up so that we can add it to that canvas mesh that's in the middle of our wreath here. And it's going to be so good at the end. So we're going to get back to adding more of our petals here, but this is so beautiful. And again, fun for fall. And may I dare say you could probably go into Christmas with this. But you could even change the center and just put a gold one in. But this is such a fun recipe for a flower wreath. Now, on the second layer, we're doing one stripe, one gold, and another stripe, and we're putting them together. And we're actually putting it on the grid that we created on the middle of this wreath frame. Now, I use these 10-inch wreath frames, and then I just get the canvas and we add it to the middle of the frame, and we give our frames a little bit of dimension. It's not flat, and it just kind of comes together, and flowers are not flat. So I love how these always turn out. It's one of my favorite things that I ever have made, and kind of what got me started in wreath making were these flower wreaths. So you're going to add some more here and there, but I would encourage you to watch the full tutorial. And we have more fall goodies coming up. I'd love to know what you'd like to see. If you are anybody that loves the 3D pumpkin wreath looks, listen, I probably have, I don't know, I have so many videos on them, and we even did a collab on them last year. I'll leave it at the end of this video for you. If you love this video and you want to see more, leave me a pumpkin in the comments. Now make sure you're subscribed. Make sure to turn on notifications. Just click that bell. And make sure to share with this with somebody who would love to watch these videos. I'll be sure to leave the pumpkin tutorials here for you to watch too. Have a great day.